Pamela in Allentown writes in, what options can you offer for getting a newly released inmate gainful employment when even a landscaping job runs a background check now? In prison, the inmates are given training for skills when they are released, but cannot secure the position due to the background check. Do you agree this is one of the main reasons there are repeat offenders?
No, I don't agree that it's one of the main reasons there's repeat offenders. What I do believe, though, is, and let me start here. We have just passed recently, and Matt, you know this, the Justice Reinvestment Act, and it is looking at a lot of the reasons of repeat offenders, trying to save our costs in the prisons and so forth, and get the money out and use it sooner. And when people start getting in trouble, try and get them before they're into the system too much so that they don't come out and continue to repeat. Unemployment does have some effect on that. I will say that. The difficult part is, especially since 9/11, background checks are required on everything, or just about everything. And, if you're an employer, you are going to be a little hesitant to hire somebody who's been in prison.
Right. If you have one who has been in prison and one who hasn't.
Right. And they're equal stature.
Right, and they're equal. Yeah.
Now, there are some employers, and recently the Department of Labor and Industry was working with the prison societies and everything. They had a conference here in Harrisburg area talking about getting people to hire. One of the hotels here in Harrisburg admitted that they hire some of the people that have been into the prison system because they're good workers and everything. So there's a fear to overcome with good workers, but also part of the problem and what they're trying to do in the prison system is teach people a work ethic that before they got to the prison system they didn't have. You have to get up at a certain time. You have to report to work. You can't just call off every day. If you
and
feel
that can
like
influence other parts of their lives, too.
That's exactly right. So in some cases, not only are we teaching them a work skill, we're teaching them a life skill that they hadn't learned before they ended up in the system. And the one other aspect that makes it difficult is the drug use. A lot of places now require a drug test. And obviously, an inmate, a former inmate, if they're still on probation and parole, better not be caught having a dirty drug screen, because otherwise they're going to go back into the system at some stage. Hopefully, we're not taking them all the way back to the prison. We're taking them to a halfway house and trying to cure that behavior. But that is what is turning a lot of people, whether they have been ex-cons or never been convicted of anything, away from getting a job. And we have many jobs in the various skills that I have contractors coming up to me saying, I have jobs, I can't find the people because they can't pass the drug test. So much of that, go back to the civil side of things, I think employers are worried about a civil lawsuit if they hire somebody with that kind of with a prison background or a drug usage background, that if some accident occurs, they're going to get sued.
Absolutely. Geography quiz coming up next. Dean from Blandon. Do you know where Blandon is? It stumped me, too. I had to look it up.
I've seen Blandon.
It's in Berks County.
That's what I was. I think it's over near Fleetwood.
I'm not sure, but I had to look it up. I just knew it was. I just looked it up and found it's in Berks County. But Dean writes in, labor-intensive companies looking to put facilities in our region will look favorably on a right-to-work environment. I want to know why we haven't made efforts to entice business through such non-repressive law. Would it have to do with where lawmakers get their power?
Well, I'm not
Unions, I believe, is the intimation there.
Right now, I mean, that is obviously a subject of discussion, especially in light of what Michigan recently did. Indiana has done it a couple of years ago also. It's an issue of competitiveness to get businesses. The discussion is not taking place here in Pennsylvania. There's, as I've said before, there's no will in the legislature at this point to take that on. So when I'm looking to businesses, what I'm trying to sell them on, and I do it all over the world. I was over in Europe and France and Germany last March. We're going to Brazil and Chile next year, and talking to them about coming to Pennsylvania because of our geography. We're within 60% of the entire population of North America in one long day's drive. Our workforce, and we have a great workforce, and our very cheap and getting cheaper energy costs here. And, if you're a company looking to grow, this is a place to come and grow.
No climate for a right-to-work movement here, though,
I
right now.
I have not seen any, and I don't think you guys have seen any either, have you?
No. George, I don't have George's town, but George writes in, every year voting officials defy court orders and open elections to fraud. Can the state establish stricter directions with criminal penalties for those who defy orders? And Pennsylvania has no paper trail to track votes cast. Any serious hacker might be able to switch a percentage of votes with a keystroke and escape without even being noticed. Why don't we attach printers to a sealed box like credit card slip printers at least? Well, I'm not sure what he's talking about in the first paragraph there. But court orders and
first order, we have laws, and we have laws with criminal penalties, felonies, misdemeanors. If people are doing things they're not supposed to be doing, and I'm not going to go into the exact statute number, it's a matter of enforcement. And it's a matter of the people at the polls watching it. We had a hotline for calls. I think we received about 500 calls. We refer those on to the local county because it's the responsibility of the county election agency and the district attorney in those counties to follow up on that. It's not a state issue. When it comes to the computers in the voting machines, those are all separately wired. Those are standalone machines. They're not on a wireless network. They can't be hacked. Okay, and when they are delivered, they are to be sealed. Now, everybody has to make sure that they're sealed. So we're relying upon the volunteers, basically, who are working there to make sure that those things are sealed properly.
So the broader question, George seems to be concerned that it's just wrought with chances for fraud, but you're saying the system's pretty good as it is right now.
Well, I mean, they're tested by these are systems that have to have been tested by the federal government and accepted to them, and they were.